guys, it's Becca and welcome back to another episode of Thrifty Vegana. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I make my vegan chicken pot pie. It's one of my family's favorites, especially when the weather's cold outside. I love it so much. I'm so excited that I can share this recipe with you. So let's just get started. First things first, you want to preheat your oven to 450. This is really important because you want a nice hot oven for the pie as soon as it goes in. So just preheat it beforehand. Then you want to pull out all of your ingredients. It's important that you pull out that pie crust first because it needs to rest and kind of come to room temperature before you start messing with it. All of the measurements, ingredients, they're all going to be down in the description box below. So definitely check that out if you want to know exactly what you need. Then I'm going to be heating up a splash of olive oil. I always cook in olive oil. It's just what I like to use. And I'm going to be frying up the chicken strips first. And this is the brand that I'm using today. I'm using Gardein, but my favorite is Morningstar. So if you can find the Morningstar vegan ones, those are the best. I'm also going to be using these pie crusts from Aldi. They're vegan and they're only like $1 or $2. So I really like to grab them. Also comes in a 2-pack, so it's just convenient for this recipe. Then you want to peel your veggies. So I'm using russet potatoes, carrots, and then I'm also going to be dicing them up into bite-sized pieces along with some celery. The celery you want to cut into finer pieces because this is going to be fried up first with the garlic. And if you like onion, this is the point where you want to dice up some onion. I don't. I've told you guys this before, but I do go in with onion powder. At this point, the chicken is pretty crispy. I'm going to take it out and put it off to the side so I can use that same frying pan to fry up some minced garlic. I buy the garlic like this because, you know, I'm a mom. I don't want to be chopping up garlic every day. But anyways, tablespoon of garlic. And then I will throw in my celery as well. And I'm also going to throw in a splash of water to kind of deglaze the pan and get all those nice crispy like vegan chicken flavors off of the bottom. Mix the garlic really well with the celery and let that cook until it becomes kind of translucent. And then I will throw in my vegetables so that they can also fry up a little bit and grab the flavor from that celery, the garlic, all that yumminess. You want to give them a little bit of flavor before you start making your gravy. While that's frying up, I'm going to cut up my chicken. At this point, it's pretty cool, so I can touch it. And I'm also going to be cutting it into bite-sized pieces. So we like big chunks, but I mean, it's totally up to you. If you want to do finer dices, you can. This is just what works best ratio-wise compared to the vegetables. So I'm going to throw in my diced vegan chicken and I'm going to give this a good mix to make sure everything is kind of evenly distributed before I go in with my flour. I'm going to be using a heaping 1/4 cup of flour for this recipe. I tried my best to like use measurements. You guys know I don't really, I don't really measure my things. I don't measure ingredients. So I tried, okay? But anyways, I'm going to be stirring this up to get all the vegetables coated, all that chicken coated with flour, to make sure that there aren't any big bits of flour before you go in with your almond milk. Again, I tried to measure this and I roughly went in with, I would say, about 1.5 to 2 cups of almond milk. And then I also went in with my seasonings. I'm going to try my best to convert these seasonings into numbers. Because I always, like I said, I just eyeball it. I also kind of like just smell my food. And it's also super, super important to taste your food. I can't stress this enough, especially when you're making gravies and stuff like this. You want to definitely taste your food. But anyways, I'm going in with a lot of different herbs because you want this to be very herbaceous. You want it to be very flavorful and comforting. And seasoning is really the make or break for food. You have to add seasoning. Like there's no argument. Don't argue with me, okay? Just add your seasonings. And when you think you've added enough, maybe add like a sprinkle more. Anyways, I'm going to stir this to combine. And like I said, I taste my food. So afterwards, I tasted the gravy. I felt like it needed a little bit more salt. I know a lot of people don't like to cook with salt. I always cook with Himalayan sea salt. But either way, salt brings out flavor. It brings out the flavor from a lot of the other ingredients. So you definitely need a little bit of salt, okay? Don't be afraid of the salt. Then I'm gonna get my pie crust ready. I put the first one down into my pie dish, and then I poke a few holes in the bottom just to let some steam out. And then look at that deliciousness. Oh my God, my mouth is salivating. I am going to pour in my gravy with the chicken and the vegetables. Make sure you scrape your pan, girl. Don't leave any of those bits, okay? Those are the deliciousness that you work so hard on. So scrape all that gravy out, pour it in there, and then grab your other pie crust and place it on top. Then once you place this on top, you get it where you want it. You want to start going around the pie dish with your thumbs and just kind of pushing it into the grooves of your pie dish. I think it's really important that you have a pie dish. I wouldn't recommend doing this recipe in like a cake pan or anything else. And pie dishes are super cheap. You can find them at Walmart, Target. I mean, hell, you can even find them at the thrift store. So grab yourself a pie dish if you don't have one already. Once I have pressed down my crust, I get it where I want it. I'm going in with a knife and I'm kind of scoring it. I'm just cutting an X in the middle. Not only is this aesthetically pleasing, but it also lets some steam out so that your pie doesn't kind of like look wonky when you pull it out of the oven. And I'm going to take strips of foil and I'm going to cover the crusts. A lot of people recommend covering the crust like the last 15 minutes or so of baking, but for me, I like to cover the crust before I even put the pie in the oven, because that way I don't have nasty burnt crust, which unfortunately, you know, I kind of did in this video, but we're going to talk about that later. So once you have your crust all covered with foil, you want to place this in the oven that is already preheated. You want to put it in there for, listen, I put it in there for 35 minutes, but don't do what I did. I don't know what I was thinking. I have made this recipe so many times, and I don't know if it was the pressure of filming or like I was tired. I don't normally do 35 minutes because look at this thing. It's almost embarrassing. You don't want it to be this color. You want it to be like a nice soft golden brown. So I would recommend maybe 25 to 30 minutes. But after that, all that's left is to serve it up. And like I said, don't leave it in there a lot long because the crust is really my favorite part, and it kind of makes me a little sad that like it was a little burnt. But anyways, that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye. 30 minutes later and it's like all gone. It's been like 30 minutes, hasn't it?
No. I think maybe 20.
Tita had seconds. Tony had seconds. I'm even eating my seconds. Babes had like more than half the pie.
I'm waiting for my slice to go.
Get out of here.